Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
So check it out. The D6 Squad has merch now. We got hoodies, tees, mugs, whatever you need. Check it out. Link in the description. What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bit. But let's go ahead and get into it. I made my video talking about what the Eagles did to end our season. I don't take it personal as in they were trying to attack our season. It was just disgusting to watch on the field. You guys can check out that video if you haven't seen it. Maybe I'll put some kind of card up here or something, whatever. But enough about that. I don't really care about that. The season is over. We have the 11th overall pick. And if you want to check out my first reactions to everything that's happened since the season has been over, head over to the Hubs channel and watch his Just Chillin' podcast from pretty sure yesterday. So much stuff happened. I think it was yesterday. And check that out. That'll be my initial reaction. And you'll see a couple of other Giants YouTubers reacting to that. But now that everything's set down, first off, we have the 11th pick. And that's a solid pick for me. We're going to have a shot at Jalen Waddle. Outside shot at one of the top two receivers, maybe. We'll have a shot at Kyle Pitts, which is another prospect that I like. And we're going to have a shot at probably one of the top two corners. It's just math. Like, just if you look at math, they're not going to take all of those players all in the top 10 and the quarterbacks. So at the very least, one of those corners will fall to us. Micah Parsons will fall to us. Kyle Pitts, he's not going to be a top 10 guy. I'll be surprised. But at the very least, one of those receivers or top two corners should fall to us. And both of them are pretty good. So I feel good about that 11th pick. I prefer to go receiver all day, every day. But of course, if we do something crazy in free agency, that can change because we do have needs in other spots. But Dave Gettleman is back as a general manager. And I'd say I'm kind of 50-50 about it. I've never looked into the season, maybe after the 49ers game, maybe. But pretty much the entire season, I never went into a game or left the game saying, man, I hope Dave Gettleman gets fired. I just never thought that. Like I said, besides that 49ers game where everybody thought that because we lost the third stringers. Meanwhile, Kyle Shanahan is just one of the greatest coaches in the league right now. But I never really thought Dave Gettleman should be fired. I wouldn't be angry if he got fired because I do kind of want someone younger, someone who is more forward thinking for how they build a team, and someone who's gonna, lean on analytics more. I know he's leaned into it a little bit, but someone who would lean into it more and attack positions like wide receiver and positions that I haven't seen him address in the past. I haven't really seen him address edge rusher with premium picks in the past. Maybe I'm wrong, but on the Panthers, I didn't really see him attack that much with first-round picks. He more was an offensive line, defensive line guy, which is good because we have a great foundation now if this offensive line can hold up going into next year. But I do want to see more of the receivers, more help for the young quarterback that we have. And I think we'll get that, even if Dave Gettleman, he's obviously staying this year. But I still think we'll get that with Dave Gettleman. My concern is Joe Judge the type of coach to where he thinks that he's just going to be able to coach around a lack of skill position talent? Because Bill Belichick refuses to draft dynamic receiving weapons. He just refuses to do it, or he's just not good at it. N'Keal Harry, that's not it. So we'll see how this offseason plays out. We'll see if they feel like paying top dollar for a wide receiver. I kind of am leaning towards they probably won't. But as far as having that premium first-round pick, top 15 pick, we're going to have a shot at a dynamic pass catcher, whether that be Jalen Waddle, whether Devontae Smith falls that far, or whether that be Kyle Pitts. So I'm feeling pretty good. Other than that, you have both of our coordinators are getting head coaching spots. They're getting head coaching interviews. Patrick Graham is getting a head coaching interview, I think, with the Jets. I'm not sure if he got some interviews someplace else, but this is something the Giants fans were scared of after that Seahawks game because that was I don't think it was a primetime game, but it was a game that everybody noticed. When we beat the Seahawks, it was a huge upset, and it was all because of that defense. And the defense just shows you how well coached they are, how sound fundamentally they were. Luckily for Patrick Graham, the games where the defense couldn't tackle as well, where they weren't fundamentally sound, where we couldn't get a pass rush, even with everything he did, those games, of course, didn't get broadcast nationally. But I like Patrick Graham here. I think he's an excellent coach. I think with some more talent, he'll be able to do less of the soft zone the Giants fans hated this year. That was his only thing the Giants fans didn't like this year. We wanted to see some more blitzing against quarterbacks that struggle against the blitz. It worked against Russell Wilson, but when we played against other quarterbacks, it didn't work as well because we didn't blitz as much because he was worried about the talent. Bradbury was missing a game, and we had to make up for a lot of holes on this team. So I think as this team starts to fill out on defense, he'll become an even better defensive coordinator. And it's only a matter of time before he eventually leaves for the head coaching spot. I'm feeling really safe. I'm really satisfied. I'm really relaxed. I think that he's going to be back next year at the very least. I think that Patrick Graham is going to want to at least stay an extra year. Now, it's risky because everything can always blow up in your face and the defense regress, and nothing that he did. It could just be not his fault, and the defense could still regress. But I think he's going to come back at least for one more year. I don't think that the Jets will hire him over some more offensive-minded coaches, and I think the league is leaning towards offensive-minded coaches in general. So I think that he'll get his shot next year, and I think even if he's offered a job, it's going to have to be something really great to leave where he's at now, because he's on the brink of being able to build a really dominant defense next year. Like a really dominant defense next year. And when you do that, a defense that can kind of anchor itself to the playoffs next year, if we're able to do that, he's going to have an entirely new level of respect when he walks into whatever locker room he walks into, hopefully for his sake, in 2022. But I think he'll be back next year. As for Jason Garrett, I only have one thing to say about that. Why is Jason Garrett still here? I see he's getting interviews with the Chargers and hopefully some other people are interviewing. Please take Jason Garrett off our hands as a head coach. He's got experience. I mean, he got the best out of Miles Austin and Dez Bryant. Tony Romo was having great seasons with him. Jason Garrett is the guy. Make sure you guys go after Jason Garrett. Chargers, he will take Justin Herbert to the next level. He can do it. He can do it. But on a serious note, Jason Garrett, I've been criticizing him most of this year. He's had a couple of games that I liked. I liked the last game that he called for the most part. I liked the last game of the season that he called, but it's not consistent enough. And even the games that I like, it's because he didn't really make a mistake as far as egregious calls, egregious play designs. For the most part, his offense isn't really that innovative. It's not that creative in using every single player to their strength. Golden Tate, how many screens did we run to Golden Tate this year versus last year where he was a factor? Every single week he was a factor. How many streaks, not streaks, but how many times did Evan Ingram go down the seam like he did with Freddie Kitchens that one week? How many times do you see Evan Ingram consistently running shallow crosses and running all these short routes that use his speed going across the field? We never saw that. We saw it maybe once every 2 or 3 games. So this is something that Jason Garrett really dropped the ball on. There were a lot of players who were not used to their potential. Deion Lewis was very rarely used as a receiver. Sometimes in third down he would motion out, but there were times where Alfred Morris was lined out wide at wide receiver. And you know he struggles to catch the ball out of the backfield. So he's not a threat there. But I would have liked to see him use a lot of these players better than what they were used. It seemed like he was able to use Wayne Gallman the right way, and that's pretty much it. But if Jason Garrett is back this year, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is my absolute worst case scenario, him coming back this year, because it doesn't matter what we add. If we don't have a competent offensive coordinator, we're not going to get the best out of them. And it's just going to be bad. I'm just going to say it. If Jason Garrett is back next year, unless DJ makes like an astronomical leap to where he just transcends whatever offense he's in, this is probably going to be his last year. auditioning as a Giant. Maybe he comes back the year after on a 5th-year option. But I'm thinking that this will be his last year if Jason Garrett is calling plays. Because one, this offense doesn't necessarily fit him. Not enough shots downfield. And two, the offense just doesn't really fit anybody as far as getting anybody open. So please make a move. Get rid of Jason Garrett. Promote someone else. Give somebody a shot that hasn't done it, or give somebody a shot that has done it. Anybody that can use these players to the best of their potential, I want as the offensive coordinator of the New York Giants. You guys let me know what you think of what has happened in the last couple of days with Gettleman coming back, Garrett getting interviews, and Patrick Graham getting interviews. I told you what I thought of it. Hopefully Jason Garrett is gone. I'm pretty sure Patrick Graham will be back. And Dave Gettleman, to me, has done a pretty okay job. His entire draft class this year, I mean, besides a couple of 7th-rounders, are playing. So I think he did a pretty good job. I think the Giants are in a really good direction if they can move on from Jason Garrett. So if you made it this deep into the video, I'm calling you a D6 squad member. If you're a D6 squad member, you got to hit that subscribe button. You got to turn on that notification bell. And listen, I make all kinds of content for NFL teams. So if you're not a Giants fan, don't worry. I'll cover your team. If I'm not covering your team, let me know. And have a good one.